You're a special generation. You're a special generation, and what I demand of you guys is to flip the script. Rather than who you know is what you know. The youth. The youth. Advice for the youngins, man. Because as I was thinking of doing this video, I was like, this is actually quite tough. Because before I was doing that, okay, why is it tough to give advice to young people of today? Because see, there's general advice they give to young people, which I'll give. And then there's also relative advice, because young people of today aren't the young people of 10 years ago, of 20 years ago, of 30 years ago. Things are different. You know, we're living in a different world, different society, and in different things. So I think there's first of all going to be general advice I give you, then advice relative to the 16, 17, 18-year-old of today, because the 16, 17, 18-year-old of today is not the same as the 16, 17, 18-year-old of 2000, of 2010, of 1990, and so forth. So general advice to young people is this, is that, so if you're in your teens, let's say 16, 17, 18, you are approaching the end of during exams, school, and so forth. And also, I'll probably also give something as well about school, but school isn't that helpful to you because school is systematic. School is built to get you into a 9 to 5. School doesn't push you to say, what can you actually do now? You may be built for a 9 to 5, but it is wrong to assume that everybody's built for a 9 to 5. But school assumes everyone is built for a 9 to 5, and there are not enough lessons or courses about careers, about talents, about different vocations outside of the system and outside of the status quo. School is there to feed the status quo. It's not really there to really challenge you to do things, take risks, and experience different things, perhaps outside of your comfort zone. So if you're a teen right now, I think the important thing to do is to experiment. Experiment outside of school. Learn things that school isn't giving you. Go out and just see, oh, let me try this. Let me be an apprentice here. Let me go and learn here. Because I think as a teenager, you don't have financial obligations. You don't have financial pressures and so forth. So this is great time. Again, I'll keep on using this. What would I say to my 16-year-old self? What I would say to my 16-year-old self is, bro, these kinds of things that you're dabbling in, take them a little bit more seriously because you have time. You have time. So whatever you, rather than just being like, okay, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to do this here. No. Find something and really try to investigate that. Go into that and just really try and go as far into film, music, making music, playing football, studying football, animation, computer science, carpentry work. Anything that you're doing that could seem like somewhat of a vocation, really try and go hard and do it, because that is a valuable time that you could use. That's when you now leave school, you'll be like, man, I truly cherish that. Now, let's say for people who are, let's say, in their 20s, 18, 19, 20, and you've either just finished university or you must finish university, because now this is key. So those in your either in your 20s or you're approaching your 20s, this is now the end of exams, end of compulsory schooling. So anything you now do is off your own back. If you want to do like an extra course or so forth, but compulsory school is over right now. You're not heading into your 20s. Have fun. And when I say by have fun, this is when you really can now experiment. When you're a teenager, you still have to experiment, but still within the paradigm of you still have to take that exam, you still have to do the homework. In your 20s, when I say experiment, is no, you can now really experiment because there's no homework to do, there are no exams to do. So you can really go out and be like, let me try this here. Let me be an apprentice for a year or 2 years here. Let me try and investigate this. Let me try and research this and so forth. So the 20s are a great time And this is where things connect to the whole. So let's say in your teens, whether you did this or not, but let's say in your teens, you had really tried to spend some time into a certain vocation now. Once you now enter into your 20s, like, man, all that time I used it in my teens, I've now built up this cash, I've now built up this wealth of information that now can really make me attack what I want to do in my 20s. But you don't have to commit to something in your 20s. You don't have to. This is the year in which, this is the period of time where just get a job. Whatever, retail, sales, whatsoever. But while you're doing that job, just to rake in some money, look at what vocation that you may be interested in. So is it music production, music management? Is it in the film industry? Is it within the arts or so forth? Or something out of the norm, or something that is more like handyman work. So any of these kinds of things is where for your 20s, you should really try to experiment and put yourself out there. So you don't have to have any pressures, because the notion is once you hit 30, you really should know exactly what you're doing. Once you're 30 in your 30s, you shouldn't be figuring stuff out. No. You shouldn't be figuring. 30s is where, you already know what you're doing. So by the time you're in your late 20s, you've already fully crystallized that thing that you want to do. And here's my thing. Every single person in this world, you are good at something. Every single person is good at something. It's just the difficulty is finding what you're good at. That's the thing. But every single person is good at something. There are some people who may be in a 9 to 5 that shouldn't be in a 9 to 5. They're in a 9 to 5 because they just were not brave enough. They didn't experiment enough, and they did not put themselves out there. They played it too safe, and they kept themselves in the comfort zone. But there's some people who 9 to 5 is where you should be, because this is your strength. You are good at sales. You just have a knack for sales. You have a knack for secretary work. You have a knack for administrative skills. This is where your strength is at. But the key thing is you must know that is your strength, not society telling you that's your strength. School tells you that you have to be to a 9 to 5. You have to wake up, you have to go to an office, you have to do this whole thing, and then you have to then check in and check out. School assumes that is what you should do, and that is wrong. You can't assume school assumes every single person is supposed to be a 9 to 5. I remember there was this guy in my year, good friend of mine actually. He actually gave me a Nigerian flag. White dude. This dude just wasn't good at academic stuff. He just wasn't, and so math and everything, he was like a C, D grade student, and he just wasn't good at this stuff. This guy was a very good drummer. A really good drummer. So I look at myself and just say, look, okay, it's good to have, education is key. Education is very key. Have your good basic education. But beyond that, I'm like, you are an excellent drummer. So as a 15, 16-year-old, you are this good at drumming at 16, you keep on doing work at this, you will find a band. You'll find a band, you'll be able to join a band, you'll be able to do like bespoke stuff, and you should be good as a very good drummer. You put in the handwork and so forth, you get a retail job on the side, network and so forth, you will make good money as well as enjoying yourself being a drummer. But school isn't guiding you towards it. There's nothing in school that will encourage you to take up drumming. School will try to discourage you from drumming, discourage you from your talent, and then say, no, get an A in maths, get an A in chemistry, biology, and so forth. Get your A's here, A, B, C, 96% and so forth. You now get into the world. It's like, okay, so this maths and science and everything, what job can I get with this stuff? So then the other thing now is relative. So that's just general stuff. So the general stuff, just to recap, is you have time, use your time well, experiment, put yourself out there, do not ignore any kinds of opportunities that come forth towards you. Really put yourself in every single kind of avenue and really exhaust every potential possibility, so that by the time you're 30 or in your late 20s, you fully know what you want to do because you've experimented and you've put yourself out there. Don't pressurize yourself to say, oh my gosh, I must have a job, I must know exactly what I'm doing at 21, at 20, at 22. No. No, you don't have to. But just a general idea, and you should be working towards it. Now, relative, you guys are different. When I was your age, when I was in my teens and 20, Facebook was in its early stages. I don't think Twitter was around. Instagram wasn't really around. The internet was there, but this was the early days of broadband. So it was still a toss-up between dial-up and broadband and so forth. So really, broadband was sort of like a new thing coming in. So when a page was opening up, you could pretty much give birth to like 5 kids while a page was loading. That's how slow the internet was. This generation has the access to a lot of information, a lot of amazing information, because the information is so readily available and you can get it quickly. And there are so much information sources now. The bad thing about that is there is bad information out there. Because there's so much information and there's now misinformation, so it's very easy to be misinformed. But the good thing about it is that there is so much wealth of information from different points of view. So I feel that this generation, I think, has more information at its fingertips, a lot more, and is a lot more informed and has a lot more data than my generation did. Because it was very difficult to receive that information, and that information was sort of controlled by systems. Right now with the internet, because the internet is so free and so many people can go there, again, it's a toss-up. Loads of misinformation, a lot of very good information from independent sources that is away from the status quo and the system. So for you guys right now, you are privileged. You're privileged in a sense of, because you can just speaking to people. A lot of guys who are like, whenever I do that, the hangouts and so forth, 2021, like I said, no, these guys just seem a bit more knowledgeable and a bit more aware of things than like my generation of 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 19, 18, 17-year-olds. Like you guys just seem to be a little bit more on the ball. And I think that it's because of this internet age that has just boomed, because this has really been the internet age. People are a lot more cynical, they're a lot more critical, and they ask more questions. People are more questionable from what they receive from the status quo. So I think that, use that information. Use that information, because I think the future is going to be, because really, for so long, it's about who you know. Through my generation, the generation before me, my big brothers and sisters generation, my father, mother generation, it was about who you know. Who you know, and that's how you went forth. We are now entering in, and I think this young generation is probably the first generation that's going to be about what you know. Rather than who you know, is what you know. And those people that are more adept in this digital world that has been accelerated by the coronavirus pandemic are going to be the leaders. The guy that has the wealth of information, that knows how this modern world works, they're going to be the guys that are going to have the true power. So I really believe the status quo is going to be flipped on its head. So you are a very exciting generation, because you are the first generation where the internet is really at the core and at the center. My generation, the internet was really early. Really early. So, because, for instance, I remember a time when the internet wasn't a thing. Growing up in Nigeria, the internet was not a thing. It wasn't a thing. So, if you had to find stuff, you had to print out like a book, you had to call people and so forth. So, I remember a wealth of time where the internet wasn't a thing. I remember when dial-up came through and what dial-up was, and I remember when broadband first came through. So I fully lived through no internet, dial-up, a bit faster introduction into the broadband. But a lot of you guys, you've not known a world without the internet. All you've known is the internet. and all you've known is a lot of information. I think this internet is so popping off now. It's super fast. It's super quick. It's getting faster and faster and faster and quicker and quicker. And it is getting a lot more developed. It is getting a lot more mature. That you are the internet dudes. Which is why it's exciting. Because I gave you that information to begin with, because that's general information. But this information that is relative to you guys, I don't even know, which is what makes it so great, because you're new. You're going to offer something that us older guys, we don't know what you're going to do with it, because you're so different, because you have this internet thing that is its own beast. And younger people look at things in a more fresher, dynamic way. Because they're young, they take more risks, they're a lot more fearless. The pandemic has accelerated where society is right now, where this is what you know. Before it's okay, do you know this government guy? Do you know this official? Do you know this employer? Do you know this thing? But now I know C++. I know how to build a website. I know how to program. I know how to make a program. I know how to collect data. I know how to video conference. I know how to link guys across several places. I know how to construct business meetings. So if you know these things, you're king and you're in demand. Because the world has changed. The world has changed. This is the digital world right now. And bricks and mortar is getting pulled away, and we are aggressively entering into a totally different world. And it's a totally different world that you guys are fully savvy in. I keep saying to guys that the youth are the future. Young guys don't watch TV. No, like young guys are not sitting down with the remote saying, "Oh, what's on TV?" No, young guys, they're on this. This is where they're on. They're on this. You know, what's the latest app? What's on YouTube? What's on this? What's on these specific sites? You know, and you know how to navigate this online world, this online basis, and you are very adept at it. Because I get frustrated a bit trying to explain to my mom how to do this thing, because I say, "Mom, you should know," but I'm like, I shouldn't be frustrated, you know, because there are some things that younger people will show me on the internet and I have no idea. Like my little cousin is really into TikTok, and I don't understand TikTok. So as much as my mom doesn't understand WhatsApp and getting into the internet, I don't understand TikTok and how it works and how you do all this kind of stuff. But my little cousin, that's her thing. You know, she has grown up with TikTok. Like as an 11-year-old, that's her thing. So you're a special generation. You're a special generation, and what I demand of you guys is to flip the script. Flip the script, flip the status quo, and be the generation that lights that spark to the guys now following in your path, that says, no. The individual is king. The people are king. It's about, if you do the work and you put in the work and you gain the information, you can be powerful in today's world. Before, you could do all the work in everything and so forth. You need to know the right person, and the right person has to like you, or you need to sort of grease their elbows or do these kinds of things to get into those kinds of rooms. So it's like, because the big thing back in the day was networking, favors, meet this guy, goes to me, this guy knows this guy who knows this guy. It's like, But right now, it's like, wow, the individual can be powerful because you can be your own boss. You can be your own thing by gaining this wealth of information that is readily available. You don't need to go to school for this stuff, because there is YouTube. There are tutorials where you can understand how this computer digital world works. So it's different. It's a whole different world that you're living in. And I'm saying that it is exciting because I want the script to be flipped, where the paradigm that has held power for so long is destroyed by the individuals and the youth. The youth are the future. The youth are the future, because the older guys are like tradition. In my day. But the younger guys are, no, F that. F tradition. F, this is how why should it be like that? Why can't it be like this? Why should it be like this and not like this? Why? You know? So hope that's, explain things, to you guys, and so that you learn some things from there. So that is my Infinity to Youth, and watch out for more videos from your boy giving you some of this insightful stuff. Your boy Hop Up HH. One love.